it is in your moments of decision that your destiny is shaped. Each of us has faced challenges during his or her life, but the way we handle those define what we are. Tonight, our friends will share a moment in which, when the going got tough, they took the challenge and then became stronger thanks to it. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Hult Talks. I have to confess something, honestly. I'm a little bit hungry. Yeah, but I see that we run out of food. So I think you really like the Marcos food, which is good. I see some of you already with red cheeks. Yeah, exactly. So probably you like also bottles XO too. Tonight we are very lucky to have the best judges we could wish for. I want to welcome Patrick, Sarah, Jerry, and Neville. Sarah Coatling is Managing Principal at Blossom Innovation. Neville Lam is Director at American China Appraisal. Jerry Ling is Vice President at Advanced International. And Patrick Keenan is Creative Director at Learning Leaders. Welcome you again. So, tonight, it's not only them deciding. Tonight, each of you will choose their favorite speaker to be declared the people's champion. But now, it's enough for the boring stuff, and let's get the show started. Okay? Yeah. So, our first speaker, to break the ice, is gonna tell us about why we should avoid others to decide what we can or cannot do. So please welcome to Trey.
Has anyone ever told you that you couldn't do something because of your size? Has anyone told you that you couldn't do something because of your gender? I ask you these questions because these are things that you cannot change. To some people, it is difficult to overcome personal challenges. Some don't know where to start, or better yet, some don't know how to accept the things that we cannot change. Growing up, I was surrounded by boys. They played sports. I wanted to play sports too, but I was told that I couldn't play sports because I'm a girl, and girls, we don't play sports. So then I decided, okay, well, I want to be a model. Models are beautiful. But then I was told, no, you can't be a model. Models are tall and thin. You're short and curvy. I got tired of people telling me that I couldn't do things. I wanted to turn all of those you can't to I can, I will, and I did. I played 8 years of volleyball as an outside hitter, and I was awarded several scholarships to different universities. 6 years of basketball as a shooting guard, 4 years of track and field as a thrower and a sprinter. And I advanced to state level competitions every year. And I'm still a girl. I have walked the runway for fashion designers, been published in magazines like Essence and Worthy. I have been seen on advertising commercials like Malibu Red with Grammy Award-winning singer Neo. I'm still short, and I am still curvy. I had to break barriers to overcome these challenges. I worked harder than most girls. I developed passion and found my niche. I was able to do this because I accepted myself. So there's this other thing that has challenged me. It's followed me as a child from Florida to where I am now, here in China. This challenge that I cannot change about myself is the color of my skin. Let me tell you, I come from a very diverse family. On one side of my family, we are Native American. Most people are very fair in skin color. At family functions, I would be reminded on how much I look like my late grandmother, who is 100% Native American. But then they will always say that you're much darker. Why can't I just look like her? Then on the other side of my family, I am Black American and Caribbean. People are much darker, but they come in beautiful shades of brown. I have a few uncles that will call me dirty white girl. And then they will also say that I spoke white. Since when did speaking have a color? As you can see, I was different. I was different because my family showed me that I was different and I wasn't accepted. That was a challenge. There was even moments where I would hide my skin from the sun so I can stay lighter to fit in with my Native American family. And then other times I would just lay out in the sun and try to tan so I can become darker like my Black Caribbean American family. It was still a challenge. I had to be someone else to be accepted. I didn't feel comfortable in my skin because I was told I didn't act like the color of my skin. What does it mean to act like the color of your skin? As a child growing up into now, these are the things that I hear. These are the things that people have told me. How do I respond to this? How would you respond to this? Exactly. But there was this one time when I wanted to be a stylist. The color of my skin affected that. I applied for the salon job in Orlando, Florida. The manager called me because she loved my resume. She said my work was absolutely amazing and she would love to have me as a stylist. So we set up an interview. A few days later, I arrived to the salon and I walk up to the receptionist and I say, "Hi, I am Trey Bacon. I have an interview today." The receptionist then steps back and she looks and she says, "You're Trey?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's me." She's like, "Okay, I'll be right with you. Let me get the manager." Minutes later, they come from around the corner and the manager, she approaches me and she says, "Hi, Trey. I'm sorry, but we don't cater to your type of people." What do you mean you don't cater to my type of people? Are you telling me that this tells you that I can't color your hair and then I can't cut your hair? Okay, well, I can stand here today and I can tell all of you that I am proud to say I am a global celebrity stylist. Even here at Hult, we are all proud of where we come from. We all talk about it. Most of you know that I am from Miami and that I'm also American. But some of you try to challenge that. Some of you would rather hear me say that I am African. I come from Africa. I come from a French-speaking country in Africa. No, I don't. See, I've never been to Africa. So how can I come from a place that I've never traveled to? We all attend a school that is so diverse. We have Mexicans. We have Italians, Germans. Has anyone dig deep into the root of your region? Has anyone questioned where you're from? See, I had to overcome the things I couldn't change at a young age. I had to overcome my size, my gender, and the color of my skin. If I didn't, I wouldn't be standing here today. I would like to leave you all with something. Once you have mastered accepting yourself, other challenges will be given. It will be easy because you will be able to believe in yourself. Once you believe in yourself, this will allow you to fulfill your dreams. I stand here today as a woman who is strong and confident because I have accepted the things that I cannot change. Yesterday in class, Professor Khan stated that once you know knowledge of yourself, you're unstoppable. Once you know knowledge of yourself, you are unstoppable. I am Trey Bacon. I am unstoppable.
Thank you very much, Trey. Packing your suitcase and leaving everything behind you. It's not easy, not at all, but Pete did it. So let's see why.
Good evening. I'm Peter Dean. I'm from the UK. And I'm going to talk to you tonight about why there have been times in my life when I've said, drop everything and go. Now, when I was at university, the first time round that is, I was into student films. You know, the short pictures that students tend to make. Waking up early on a Sunday morning, walking around pretending to be a zombie, or playing with plastic guns and saying, oh, they'll look good in post-production. I got increasingly into these kinds of movies. And I said, you know what? I want to make a career out of this. And so I decided to do my master's degree in visual effects for film. I was building up my skills. I was making contacts. I was going down to London. It was an exciting time. And it was getting more and more exciting. I had this plan to get a job in a big film company. Yes, I was going to have to start at the bottom, making some cups of tea, but I would climb up. It was going to get better and better. I was so excited. And then I entered the job market in September 2008. And, as you know, it wasn't the easiest time. I worked on a feature film, a couple of music videos, but it wasn't the dream that I wanted it to be. So, this is the first time that I said it. I said, drop everything and go. Drop everything and go. So, I got myself a job as an English teacher in South Korea. And a few weeks later, I got on a plane and whoosh! I was in South Korea. The land of kimchi, peanut-flavored squid, and cooking your dinner in the middle of the table. I had the best time. It was great. I was going out, having beers all the time. I made so many new friends. And I met my wife. And now, actually, I have a secret to tell you all. Now, there is a bar in Seoul. And I know of 6 married couples who met in that bar. Now, if you want details, ask me later. But anyway, we continued our year in Korea, and we were having the best time. And we wanted to continue that adventure. So we said, what should we do? China. Let's go to China. So, over we came We were in China, and the traveling opportunities were fantastic. We went to the Philippines and saw some of the most amazing, beautiful, alive coral reefs. We went to Thailand, and we took a shower with an elephant. We went to Vietnam, and we did the motorbike tour around central Vietnam like they did on Top Gear. And the most off-the-beaten track I have ever been. We went way up into the Himalayas in China, and we went to a town called Litan, and it had the most fantastic Tibetan monastery with Buddhist monks and nomads walking around, and there was also this high military presence showing the unease in the region. But it was fantastic. We had the best time traveling around China, living in China, and we wanted to continue that adventure. And we said, okay, let's go to the USA. We were getting married, it was great, and then... Small town America is not all it's cracked up to. Now, Americans out there, if I say Vermont, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? Cows. Cows, dairy farms, okay. Okay. What Americans always said to me was, oh, it's beautiful. I mean, it is. It is. But it's cold. There's like 3 foot of snow on the ground in the winter. There's not much to do. And I had a dead-end job. So, I said, drop everything and go. But this time, it was different. Now, I set myself a goal. I wanted management experience. I knew I could go back to the company who I worked for before, and I knew that there were opportunities there. And so, I set myself a goal. In a year and a half, I was going to be the director of studies of an English language teaching center. And that is a goal that I achieved. But it wasn't easy. There was hard work, graft. I had to make a difference. I had to show that I could add value. But I got into that position, and it was great. I wasn't down on the bottom like I had been before. I was enjoying it. I was loving it. But I made one of the scariest, most difficult decisions I have ever had to make, and that was to come to Hult and do my MBA. But I knew that I could do more. I knew that if I worked on it, I could equip myself with something to go further. And that's why my message to you today is drop everything and go. But have a plan and go for it.
Thank you very much, Pete. Now, almost everybody here is an immigrant. It's the reality. It's what it is. And it's tough. It's really tough. But can you imagine being an immigrant at the age of 12? This is what happened to Rosie.
Lies were the end of her world. Would it be the last time for her to see her beloved mom? Would it be last time for her to taste her mom home-cooked meal? Would it be last time for her to stay at home, looking at the old pictures of her family. About 2 hours, she will board a plane, going from Vietnam to Sweden. Sweden, destination she never heard of, a place she's never been, a place she will call her home from now on. That girl, that year, was 12 years old. Excited, coming to a new country with her adopted dad. Scared, what will happen in new country, new environment, new culture. She was playing a life-changing game, trying to search for a better future, regardless what the outcome would be, regardless what the adventure could lead her to. She was forced to confront an identity crisis. At tender 12 years old, being in a completely new world. Can you remember when you just came to China? How would you feel without knowing the language, facing the challenges every day, without knowing the world around, and no family there to support you? How would you feel? That girl was facing the same situation. But even harder, because she was just a child. In Sweden, she was introvert. She was sitting alone. She was different, because she didn't have long hair, and she didn't have blue eyes, and she was a girl. Communication was so difficult for her, and all the children make fun of her because of her accent. Remember, when you just came to China, you couldn't speak Chinese. And even now, I know some of you can't even speak Chinese. How would you feel? That girl was facing the culture shock challenges every day. She didn't have the necessary skill and resources to stand up for herself. She had to struggle every day in order to go about her daily life. Destiny wasn't nice with her either, because she needed to face a greater challenge, discrimination, an obstacle based on her ethnicity. At home, she was forced to stay in the kitchen with her adopted aunt, to try to learn how to cook while her adopted brother went out at night. It's not fair. And her real mom didn't want her to follow her career dream goal. And rather than focusing on being a good housewife later on, than being an influent woman, she was told to put others before herself, being submissive, being accommodation, instead of taking control over her life. And her uncle constantly looked down on her, just because she was a girl. That girl, that year, is me. I'm sharing this story, not because I want to show sympathy, not because I want to have empathy and attention. I just want to send a message to all of you here, today to be different. One thing was in my mind back at that time. Why am I so different from others? But I was so young. I was so young to even know about it. Later on, I got settled into a Swedish family to learn about the Swedish culture. My foster mom, I really love her so much. She has transformed me from naive little girl that year into a confident lady that's standing here today to tell you the story. She has taught me to be independent, doing everything on my own rather than relying on others' support. She has taught me one of the most important predictors of success is the diligence and determination working hard towards a goal. She has shown me communication. Yes, communication is one of the keys to success. While I was trying to find my real identity, I felt so grateful what I have learned from her. A European role model, a strong, independent, communicative woman. Stand firm for what she believes and fight for her own rights. As I grow up, I learned I don't need to live up for others' ideals. I can choose who I want to be. I didn't choose to be Asian, Vietnamese. I didn't choose to be European, Swedish. I chose to be myself. I chose to be me. A mix of two parts, a mix of two cultures. I'm not fit for the society definition of perfection, but I know I am unique. I'm so proud of my heritage. Today, I'm taking all the courage to send you the message. My message is to all the young immigrants. Far from home, felt different. To and pray for you who you are. My message is simple. Try, fail, challenge the social norm. By creating your success story. You need to let your courage conserve timidity. Step out of comfort zone and try to make a difference. Everyone have a dream. My dream is today, in this room, I will tell everybody, you are the most beautiful creation in this world. You are perfect as you are. No one can ever, never define you by your gender, race, skin, hair, but by the action you chose to do. I also want to encourage you to follow your own decisions and never ever compromise your belief for anyone else. The freedom to be accepted for who you are. The freedom to embrace your uniqueness. The freedom to do whatever you want. I dare you and challenge you to be different. To build a movement of young professionals who are brave enough to build a better community, a better society for themselves, for you, and for me. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much to Rosie.